Today's quote is, "To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all." Yes, I nailed it. I memorized it. Let's go. And I think it's very thought provoking, a very important quote to consider, especially in the modern day with a lot of the new age products and experiences that we go through with those products and all the innovation that continues to just keep coming. So it's an important question that we need to ask ourselves. Are we living or are we just existing? I know for me, a lot of times I'll notice myself just existing and I'll be like, wow, I need to wake up, like snap out of it. You need to actually live. Like life is meant to be lived. You can't just be idly passing it by. You can't have a passive outlook on life. Otherwise, it's a little depressing. It's a little sad, and you're almost never going to be happy, basically. You're never going to feel content if you think like that. What would be important for everybody as individuals would be for them to define what living is and define what existing is, at least roughly. For myself, I would define living as having a sense of fulfillment, struggling through obstacles, and learning and growing as I encounter those, and through the good things as well, learning and growing. That's what I would call living, at least the idealistic version, definition in my mind. That's what I'm trying to be. That's how I'm trying to do life. I'm trying to be fulfilled more often than not. I'm trying to overcome obstacles and to feel that sense of fulfillment and to also learn and grow and help other people to do the same thing along the way. Versus existing, just existing. Words I use to define just existing would be moving without any motion, if that makes sense. You're moving, but you don't feel as though you have any motion or emotion. Another way would be to be following others, usually blindly, just going through the motions and not really moving and doing anything moving in your life. Another form of just existing, I would say, is ignorance and just living in ignorance, whether it's willful ignorance or whether you're just unaware. And the final thing I thought of was forsaking your talents and gifts, whatever that might look like for you. We all have different talents and gifts and different potentials for the talents and gifts that we could possibly have. I think that's a way that we're just existing. If we're just existing, we're not allowing ourselves to develop those talents and abilities that possibly only you are capable of developing. I truly believe this. I believe everybody has a true sense of individualism, if that makes sense. Even though we all share the same human experience and go through very similar things in the grand scheme of things, we all have a very personal and individualistic experience. And with that comes potential. And I think everybody has their own unique to themselves potential, if that makes sense. And so if you're watching this and you're thinking about how can I make the switch? Because I'm sure there's different aspects in life where maybe you're feeling like you're living and actually living genuinely, and then there might be other areas of your life where it's a little easier to just exist. And you might be wondering how to make the switch. There are some things that I figured out. There's two big steps that I think are really important to make the switch to live and not just exist. The first step is to recognize where you fail to live. You need to recognize that. You need to find those areas in your life where you're not living, where you're not feeling alive. And that might be in your personal free time, like in your routine and in your habits and in the behaviors. There might be certain things in those areas that are bringing you down and that are preventing you from reaching your higher self and discovering your higher self. Another area where you might just be passively existing that you need to recognize would be in your relationships with other people. It might be a romantic relationship, it might be with your parents, your family, it could be just with friends, and it could be with yourself as well. And on a spiritual level, there's a whole other thing with relationships with you and your higher power, you know. For me, that's God. If I don't have a good relationship with God, it just feels like I'm idly passing the days away, and they're not quite what they could be. And I think that's a big part of it, but just relationships in general across the board, it's important to constantly be looking at those and asking yourself what could be done to improve or to maintain if they are going well. And another area could be in your goals and in your dreams. You might have to sit down and ask yourself, is this truly what I want to do? Is this truly something that's going to make me happy? Is this something that is going to benefit myself and others as well as life goes on and even after I'm gone? It's never too late to change your dreams. It's never too late to change course. And it goes both ways. If you're on a good path, it's never too late to switch from a good to a bad path. But if you're on a dark path, and if you're on a path that you simply don't want to be on, it's never too late to change course. You can always do that, no matter what that looks like for you. But it's important to recognize all these things that I just said. That's the first step. You have to recognize that you're not where you want to be, or you're not living how you know you can live. And once you've done that, the next step, the second and final step that I've put together is to plan and act. And what that looks like is asking yourself, what must be done to achieve X? Or what must be done to become X? If you want to truly live versus exist, what needs to be done in order to get there, in order to feel as though you are living? And you can also ask yourself, how long is that going to take? And when will I do these things to get to X? And once you've roughly answered those questions, you need to commit. Because once you answer those questions on what needs to be done, you have it. You have the solution. A lot of the times we have the solutions to our problems. The problem that we run into is when we don't commit to those solutions that we've known. Sometimes we've known the solution for so long and we just fail to commit and be consistent in that commitment. Things that I do that help me to commit and to stay true to my commitment is journaling. Journaling helps a lot with just keeping yourself in check on a personal level, and it also helps you to not forget. It helps you to not forget about why you started this path and why you wanted to change in the first place. Another way to stick to this commitment would be an accountability partner or some form of accountability or community, whether that's just having like-minded friends or individuals in your life that can help you on your path. It's really hard to do things all by yourself for a long period of time. And I think that's why we have a lot of social things in our life. I think that's a huge perk of the modern world, and with social media and just everybody's busy lives, there's a lot going on and there's a lot of opportunities to not be alone, especially in all the different categories of life that you might be thinking of. Another one for me personally is prayer. Just like when I was talking about relationships, it helps me a lot to pray and to just try to improve that relationship on that level. Prayer just keeps me in check. It's very similar to a journal, in my opinion, and in my experience. It's just kind of like a verbal journal where you can just kind of meditate, just positive self-talk as well. And it just reinforces the things that I want to accomplish and the progress that I'm making. It helps me to just verbalize it. It just really reinforces positive energy, I guess. It just really keeps, it's a good thing to do. I think it's a great practice. And it's important to know and remember that you're not going to be perfect in the changes you want to make in your life. You're not going to instantly go from not living to living your highest life and living your best self and doing all the things that you've ever wanted to do. It's not just going to happen in one day. It's not just going to happen in 3 days, you know. It's going to take some time, and it's going to take a lot of mistakes maybe. It might take a lot of trial and error. It might take a lot of reflection. It might take a long time. But I think that's truly what we want at the end of the day. We don't just want to instantly transform into something without putting in work and learning and having important experiences. And so that's important to remember, and to not quit over a mistake, and don't quit over a shortcoming. As long as you're truly striving to become that person you want to become, like, it's a beautiful path that you're creating, mistakes or not. Like, it's going to be genuine and authentic, and it's going to be very meaningful to you in the moment, hopefully. And if not then, there's a good chance you're going to reflect on those moments that are tough and moments that you make mistakes. You're going to say, wow, I learned a lot right there. I needed to feel that. I needed to go through that experience in order to be who I am. Like, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the process. And so don't be afraid and discouraged of setbacks like that. And one final thing, I don't want to make it seem like the only way to truly live is being hyper productive and never being restful. And obviously it's not good to waste time, and I don't think resting is a waste. And I don't think like having lazy moments is wasting time. It's just important that we prioritize the things that we want to do and not let those things that we don't necessarily need, they're not even essential. We don't want those things to crowd into the things that we truly want to do and that are like, they're needs. If we want to truly live and be happy and fulfilled in life, it's a need. It really is. Like, if you truly want to live in a fulfilled way, it will require that you cut out certain bad habits and bad behaviors, you know. Not all the way necessarily, and it's bad to even call it a bad behavior, like scrolling on your phone. Like, it's totally fine to take a social media break, you know. It's like, I just don't want to come off as a productivity guru that preaches nothing but productivity. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's important to find balance, and balance looks different for everybody. It all looks different, and I'm not trying to show that there's only one certain way to truly live and all that. So it's important to find balance and to define it for yourself, just like defining living and defining existing, and to find a good balanced way to live your life that will make you feel the most fulfilled and the most alive and happy. But yeah, thanks for watching. I would love to hear anybody's thoughts in the comments. If you have any thoughts about this, if you didn't like something that I said, have at it. I'd love to hear it. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.